It's an exciting day today. We are going to be installing this beautiful window in the side of my 2006 T1N Sprinter van. Look at that, you guys. I'm so excited. Let's dive in to today's project. Also, it's a beautiful day outside, so that's at least something to smile about. I purchased this window from Van Windows Direct, and it honestly shipped super, super fast. It also came with this optional kit that you could select and basically have everything that you need to install it. So I got 2 cans of Sikaflex, as well as the Beta Prime, which is a single application primer, as well as the trim lock for the edge molding for once you cut the window out and you put this over the bare metal. So today we're installing a window, obviously, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys some information before I start. So I bought this window from Van Windows Direct, and I will say that I originally ordered it from Camper Van HQ, and it was going to be an extra $200 for shipping, so I canceled that order and I literally ordered it directly from Van Windows Direct, and it was only about $50 more, and I got 2 tubes of Sikaflex instead of just 1. So that being said, I got it from Van Windows Direct, and according to their instructions on their website, it says that they utilize for these particular windows, I think they're called like direct fit windows, and they utilize like the factory metal like stamping. So basically all you have to do is you cut out this outline, and then from the outside you prep the metal and you place the window right on there, and it takes 3 hours to set. You check it, make sure there's no leaks, and you're good to go. I am gonna hop to it. I'm really excited to put this window in. I was a little nervous because it leaves like an inch around the outside to set it in, but I'm gonna follow the instructions that I was provided with, and we're just gonna hope that it all works out, because I believe cutting a giant hole in the side of your van the insurance companies will consider it totaled if it doesn't work out. So obviously I took a grinder and I cut that middle bracket off of the window so it's not in the way. I filed it down a little bit with the grinder, and now I am pre-drilling holes so that our jigsaw can fit inside those holes. But what I didn't realize in this moment was that if you are looking at a T1N van from the outside versus the inside in this situation, you're gonna have to cut from the outside. So I pre-drilled 4 holes on the inside, only to realize I had to go on the outside to cut the hole out with the jigsaw. For a T1N, just know that you gotta do it from the outside. So we are on the outside of the van, and before you start cutting, you're going to want to put painter's tape around wherever you are going to be cutting. This helps protect your paint job, and I will say even with the painter's tape, it still got a little like roughed up underneath the tape, and also where I didn't tape it on the bare metal that got cut out, it definitely ate up the paint. So you want to make sure that you do your best to protect your paint job as much as you can. So that's what I'm doing here. metal kept flying in my face. I had to cover it up. Look at that hole! So once you cut any metal you're going to want to file it down to get it as smooth as you can, and then you're going to want to treat it with rust prevention paint so that it doesn't rust. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm filing it down, and then we're going to treat it with some rust prevention paint. But before I do that, I wanted to dry fit it and make sure that it actually fits. It's always a good idea to just dry fit it. So then I'm going to prep the surface and get it ready for paint and installation. When you are doing this, I highly recommend just spraying that spray paint into a little puddle and using a brush, because I did get overspray on a bunch of stuff that I had to clean up and I just made more work for myself. So don't do this, but do the rust prevention paint. You could always hit that fresh paint with some heat from a heat gun or a blow dryer just to help it dry a lot faster. So after priming the window and also adding the trim lock to the edges, I was ready to apply the Sikaflex, and I think it was because it was kind of cold outside, so it was really, really, really hard for me to squeeze that Sikaflex out of the caulking gun. And so my hands were hurting. I had already pinched a couple of my fingers on some other things I was doing, and I was struggling. So Isaac was outside. He was checking out my progress so far. So I asked him if he could help, and he gladly stepped in, and we got the caulking all the way around the window, although it was really challenging to get it out. So I would recommend making sure that if you're doing this, your Sikaflex is not hot, obviously, but make sure it's like warmed up. You can leave it in the sun or have a heat gun kind of on it for a little bit, but just warming it up does help a lot. Before we went ahead and installed the window, I cleaned the surface where it was going to touch the Sikaflex, and I also primed that surface as well. Set it in there. It should fit right in. Once the window is set, you're going to want to apply some painter's tape on the window and the van itself to kind of just hold it into place, and you give it about 3 hours to cure, and you can take that tape off. I went ahead and left it there overnight, and I gave it a good 24 hours before I decided to take the tape off. Let's give it a look. Honestly, I could not be more happy with how this window turned out. It looks great from the inside and the outside, and there you have it, you guys. Look at that beautiful, perfect fit window. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.